On the Road is a short story by Jack Kerouac from 1957. We have read an extract from the novel. Our protagonist, Saul Paradise, has just split up with his wife and meets Dean.
Our first information about Sal in the text is that he split up with his wife and was very sad at the time. We know that because he says, "My feeling that everything was dead," when talking about the split. Before going on the road with Dean, Sal lives in Patterson, New Jersey with his aunt. Sal is a writer, and he has dreams of going west on the road and needs new experiences, which comes along with his friendship with Dean. Sal is a representation of the writer of the book Jack Kerouac. Jack Kerouac did also spend a lot of time traveling America in his early life. That's why I can draw a parallel.
Dean was born on the road. He believes he is an intellectual because of his words he have heard from real intellectuals, but really doesn't know anything about it. He works in a parking lot. He tells people he wants to learn to write from them, but he also asks Sal to teach him. He's a very excessive and charismatic person with big personality. Dean believes in the American dream and wants many different career paths. The word "it" for Dean means he wants to experience life and be inspired. He's not very dependable. He has a lot of wives and shifts between them. In the text, we are told, for him, sex was the one and only holy and important thing in life. He is described as trim, thin-hipped, blue-eyed guy with an Oklahoma accent, suffering from bony face with long sideburns and his straining, muscular, sweating neck. Dean wants to live in the moment. This is also why the word "time" is written in capital letters in the text. He doesn't want to live in the past or the future. He wants to live in the now. There's a meaning in the name Moriarty. In Sherlock Holmes, his arch-enemy's name is Moriarty. One of the main themes is friendship. The friendship between Dean and Sal is very central in the text. They are both sharing this traveling experience, and they both develop within each other. Sal is aware of that Dean exploits him by saying that he wants to learn how to write, but Sal accepts it and doesn't care about it. Friendship also plays a big role in the Beat generation. Another theme is movement. Dean lives in the moment, and the moment is always moving. He uses time to meet his own ends. Even though the Beat generation was poor, they were much happier than the ideal American. The story also represents the society of the 1950s when capitalism was very relevant in America. Dean wants to break free from the capitalism's control of society.
Dean frequently mentions the word "it" in the story. The reader is introduced to it when Dean describes the saxophone player Sal. He says, "Now, man, that alto man last night had it. He held it once he found it. I've never seen a guy who could hold it so long." This is Dean's way of saying that he's inspired by the saxophone player. Dean also hints too that jazz music gives him this particular feeling of ecstasy because it's somewhat improvised, and therefore it brings him closer to it.
The story On the Road focuses on the two main characters, Sal and Dean. The story is told from Sal's perspective, however it spends a lot of time focusing on Dean and his actions because they are crucial to the understanding of the story. On the Road is about the consequences of living in the moment, as we see in the end of the story, where Sal distances himself from Dean and lets him stand in the rain.